It started as a whisper. A murmur behind palace walls, stirred not by scandal this time, but by something warmer. More human. Prince William, future King of the United Kingdom, is about to step into a role few expected, but one that could stir deep emotions across the House of Windsor. A royal wedding is on the horizon. And with it, a decision that could bring back memories, reopen old wounds, or perhaps begin to heal them. The man at the center of it all. Peter Phillips. The often overlooked eldest grandson of Queen Elizabeth II, son of Princess Anne, and the first of her children to get married and divorce. Now, he's preparing to walk down the aisle once again, this time with Harriet Sperling, a woman whose presence in the royal orbit is as graceful as it is surprising. But behind the champagne toasts and official announcements, all eyes are turning to one question: what role will Prince William play at this wedding? And could his presence, perhaps even his hand on the groom's shoulder, signal something deeper? A restoration of bonds fractured by time, duty, and exile. Peter, 47, and William, 43, have known each other since birth. While the press tends to focus on William's relationship with Harry, or the lack thereof, those within royal circles know the bond with Peter is just as significant, though rarely discussed. Peter once described their royal childhood as a gang of cousins who caused mayhem and chaos. And behind the palace gates, Peter became less of a cousin, more of an older brother. Quietly supportive. Always near, but never in the spotlight. Now, with Peter's engagement to Harriet, an NHS paediatrician, single mother, and a woman largely unknown to the British public until just months ago, the question of who stands beside him as he says, "I do" has taken on an outsized importance. Could William serve as best man? A groomsman? Or perhaps, more symbolically, the emotional anchor of a fractured family gathering? The very thought sends tremors through the palace press office. Not only because of the headlines it might spark, but because of who else could be standing nearby. Yes, Prince Harry. Multiple royal insiders have confirmed that Harry has been quietly informed of the engagement and the tentative plans for the wedding. While nothing official has been announced, whispers suggest that he, too, might be asked to attend. And should both brothers stand side by side at the wedding of their cousin, on British soil, no less, it would mark the first such moment in years. The symbolism writes itself. Not Buckingham Palace. Not Westminster Abbey. But a countryside estate. A wedding not of sovereigns, but of kin. A place where two sons of Diana might, even briefly, inhabit the same frame again, not as adversaries, but as family. But let's return to Harriet. Since her quiet debut on the arm of Peter Phillips at the badminton horse trials in May 2024, she has been a revelation. Reserved yet radiant, she won over photographers and royal watchers alike with her understated style and warm demeanor. Introduced to King Charles and Queen Camilla during Royal Ascot, where she was spotted sipping champagne with Charles himself, Harriet made an impression not easily forgotten. Sources say Queen Camilla described her afterward as graceful, but grounded. And those within Peter's circle confirm the romance moved swiftly, but with certainty. Harriet, a devoted mother to her daughter Georgia, brings not just charm, but depth. A woman shaped by her years as a single parent, by the quiet resilience demanded by her work in pediatric care, and now, by the peculiar scrutiny of royal attention. Her engagement to Peter marks a new chapter. For him, it is a second marriage. His first, to Autumn Kelly, ended in 2021. Yet the two remain amicable, co-parenting daughters Savannah and Isla in Gloucestershire. For Harriet, the path to the palace was never paved with privilege, but with purpose. And that contrast is part of what makes this upcoming wedding so compelling. It is not merely a royal formality, it's a convergence of lives shaped by service, by personal reinvention, by second chances. And at its heart, Prince William. Those close to William say he's already expressed joy at Peter's engagement. One aide described him as genuinely moved, adding that the two have never lost that brotherly rapport. The possibility of William playing a prominent role is not just sentimental, it's significant. It suggests a softening. A return to something more grounded, more familial. The Prince of Wales, so often caught between duty and public expectation, now stepping into a role that isn't scripted by the crown, but by the heart. Royal correspondent Emily Nash put it bluntly, it would be fitting. And it would be emotional. William standing by Peter would say more than any palace press release ever could. But the wedding doesn't just offer a spotlight for William, it offers a mirror. One that reflects back the weight of history, the fracture lines still visible in the House of Windsor, and the longing of a nation for even the faintest glimpse of reconciliation. Because if William is there, will Harry come? If the two brothers, once inseparable, now separated by oceans and headlines, were to share a pew, or a toast, or a fleeting conversation, it would send shockwaves far beyond the chapel walls. Peter's wedding, in this light, becomes more than a family celebration. It becomes an opportunity. Not orchestrated by palace courtiers or political strategists, but by chance. By kinship. By love. Royal watchers note the timing, too. With King Charles still in a precarious health state, and Princess Catherine continuing her quiet recovery out of the spotlight, the family needs moments of unity. Needs stories not of scandal, but of joy. Peter and Harriet's union offers precisely that. A human moment amid institutional strain. Already, there's chatter about the dress code. Will it be a large, public-facing ceremony, or a discreet private affair? Will the king attend? Will Camilla bring her grandchildren? Will Meghan come if Harry does? Every potential guest adds another layer of tension, or hope. But while the speculation swirls, Peter and Harriet remain mostly silent. Their only official statement, released through family representative Gerard Franklin, was brief and classic. Both families were informed jointly of the announcement, and were delighted with the wonderful news. That's it. No drama. No fuss. Just two people, in love, preparing to marry, with the whole world watching. Harriet, now quickly becoming a royal fashion favorite, has already been dubbed the next surprise icon by tabloids. Her understated British labels, Beulah London, ME+EM, Penelope Chilvers, sell out within hours of public appearances. The so-called Harriet effect is already underway. But for those who've followed the royals closely for decades, it's not the clothes that matter. It's the choices. The gestures. The symbolic weight of who stands beside whom when the vows are spoken. For William, this may be one of the few moments in recent years where he is not a prince fulfilling a role, but a man showing up for his family. Whether he raises a glass in a quiet countryside garden, walks Peter to the altar, or simply sits in the front row with a smile, his presence will speak volumes. And it may be one of the last times we see the old ties between cousins, once wild children of Windsor, take visible shape in adulthood. And for Harriet, stepping into a life under scrutiny, her poise suggests she's ready. Ready not just to be Peter's wife, but to walk that delicate line between private person and public figure. A wedding is coming. And with it, a chance, for joy, for remembrance, perhaps even for healing. But it's Prince William's role that may ultimately define how this moment is remembered. Whether as best man, groomsman, or simply a loyal cousin, he stands not just at Peter's side, but at the intersection of past and future, tradition and change. Eyes will watch, cameras will flash. But in that brief, emotional ceremony, what matters most won't be the titles. It will be the ties that bind.